I also forgot to mention that the spawn location 000 is calculated based on the spawn lock comp, which is represented by this texture, and this is from where the offsets are calculated. For similar logic, we have 5 VFX locations because it's so much easier to spawn it exactly where you want it in comparison with trying to move it left, right, up and down. I'm too tired to do that, so there are 5 locations. Whatever you change, you get the idea. These are the 2 muzzles. That will be when the disintegration starts. That's somewhere here. Now the smoke that comes out, that's there in the back, and that little bot light is here on the top. So here we have one more blueprint that really is nothing, just camera that we will control through base player controller, and we just set the view target blend when we are blending between the player camera and the exact position when interacting with the screen. So let's have a look on the BP FP character blueprint. We just have like really basic shortcuts to can sheath the weapon and then you can swap the weapons. There isn't any specific logic with it or remembering it in the save game reference. It was convenient not to remember it for testing purposes. Obviously this is something that you are gonna have to work hard yourself to make it better. The helper for VFX, again, I already mentioned it. So I think for the beginners the most important part of the code is here. Example of the interaction trace, how it works. It's very easy to follow. Basically what we are doing is that in C++ I'm already assigning various tags for these box collision components. They only collide. If we have a look here, we can just type in box comp, and for example here we have box comp slide, box comp push, and if you look on the collision it's just the query only. Ignore everything, and we are tracing on the visibility channel. That trace is started here in a timer functions, and we have the visibility channel here, and here for example you can adjust the distance of the trace. There isn't any special code. You will need to deal with the collisions when you collect the weapons or adjust the position of the player. This is not included in the sample. I mean, this will require some more digging through YouTube, or most people already know how to do it. Just to point you out, we are using blueprints for a demonstration to switch on the name. Basically, we are distinguishing whether it's a pickup or it's an NMS. If you check the tags in the pickups, for example, when you type in tag, so it's an interactable object and it's a pickup. Those conditions, those tags are used to drive this logic in this example. In case you transfer the code to your project and it's not working, check on the tags. So now we have left to tackle the biggest actor in the game. So let's start on the components. There is only one skeletal component, and that has an animation blueprint. When you open up an animation blueprint, you can see the logic, how it was done. Rest of these are or text render comps. To confuse you guys, I'm using in the same places sometimes 2 different planes because it was for me a more convenient way to work with. It could have been done by changing rotations and locations and size, but I'm already doing it and I felt I wanted to keep it simple. For me, it was a solution. I don't want to confuse anyone. You can look through the update NMS state. That's where you will find all these processes that are happening. You will have to be able to read the C++ code. But for a Blueprint user, you don't need to worry about this. This is why you pay me to worry about it. All you need to worry about is, in case you create your custom collision channel, make sure to fill it in here. Now, debug enabled, that will just print out more information in the output log. Always a good idea to keep an eye on the output log. Let me know in case of problems. So then we have door delay. Delay to allow for async load before the door anims play. I recommend leaving it at least on 1. I think I have clumped it so you can't mess it up. Handle timer interval, that's how fast we'll play these animations for the handles. Restart cycle delay, that's important thing to talk about. At the end, before we move to the state of power off, our 0.0 state, we allow 3 seconds for the voice lines to play. That means it would be good idea to somehow barrier off the player with some door or some sort of animations or sound in case he's faster than 3 seconds. I would recommend kind of delaying him for at least 3 seconds, because then all these processes will kind of clean up all the traces in the memory and they will force garbage collection. You don't want to accidentally jump into some heavy FPS combat before this garbage is force collected. 99% chance it won't affect you anyway, but I'm just saying it as a reminder because you can't know about it unless I tell you if you are a Blueprint guy.